Hello everybody, welcome back to 539. So we are at the site of what once was a church. Actually right now we're probably parked in what was the middle of the church, and now it has been torn down, and all that's left behind it here is this old 1800s graveyard. So I thought maybe we would check it out, see if maybe there's some forested area here right on the edges of this place, and so maybe there's even some remnants of the old church there. Who knows what we're gonna find or what historical graves or items we'll find here, but let's go check it out and see. So right here is where the church once would have stood. It's actually still marked on the map as a church. You can see there's a little bit of a new section over to the right there, and then this gigantic empty space where it once would have stood. And so there's a lot of trees back this way, and so who knows what might be hiding back there, but we certainly will see. And it's definitely starting to look pretty historic. You can see the age of these graves looks pretty old, mid-1800s, probably late 1800s. And yeah, let's start by going towards the back edge like we usually do here. So some very clear damage starting off right here at the back. Not sure if there's going to be anything lost in the woods though, but we will go ahead and take a look. It does open up quite a bit once you get in there, but again, I think this is the back edge. You can possibly even see right in there is the old fence. So let's carry it on around here. I can see somebody's house fairly close, so it doesn't look likely that there's going to be much back there, but we will keep an eye out along the edges here. But let's go and check some of the areas around the trees here where we usually find some stuff hidden. It looks like there's a few items. People have kept it pretty clear here though. As you can see, there's been a little pathway that's been cleared out straight to the headstone so that you can actually still see it, which is pretty cool. Now, right here, there's a lot of stuff that's still covered up, including this one very, very large vine right here. I'm not seeing any names on it. There we go. Makes me wonder, usually there's stuff beside these, and this section seems pretty large, so I'm kind of guessing that there is stuff hiding down here. I'm not seeing it as of yet. Let's turn around there though, and check this out here. This is very interesting. Very clear writing and a metal memorial here. Only a little bit of damage at the bottom. It looks like probably from the expanding of the stone, or excuse me, probably the concrete inside when it got wet and then froze over the winter. But otherwise in really, really good condition. Following this along back, I think I see, yeah, there's definitely some more stuff hidden back here. Looks like a bird has unfortunately made a nest on top of this old gravestone. I don't have any gloves with me or I would clean that off, but that can be kind of dangerous and can get you salmonella really easily. So not something that you want to mess around with if you don't have to. Wow. This place is in decent condition overall, but you know, lots of crazy little spots like this with stuff hidden behind it. Here's the back side, or probably actually the front side. It looks like there's some writing here. Really difficult to tell what it says though. And behind it, this section's been burned out or cleared out, or it's just died away for the season. And you can see there's some definite memorials here. Probably would be pretty easy to clear out with some sort of weed whacker or something. But also right over here is another memorial that's fallen over. Kind of decent writing, looks a lot better on camera, I feel like. And this looks fairly substantial. I don't know what it is. It might just be a vine that is, sorry, it sounded like people talking, but it was actually just flies, literally. Oh, wow. You can see there's something back there. I'm not sure exactly what's flying around me, but these, I think it's horse flies. They're not really happy with the whole situation. I don't think I'm going to be able to clear this out enough to get it to where we can read it. Wow, it is really encased in there, and the vines are so thick that it would literally take some sort of power tools to get it out of there. That's crazy. See, it's from 1865. Looks like that might be a birth year. Yeah, to 1949. Let's see if somebody maybe can piece together a name. I literally have bugs crawling in my hair now from doing all that. That's fine though. Let's see on this one. Still not really able to tell here. It kind of feels like there should be something down there, but I can't tell. Yeah, pretty much everything here is covered. It's kind of crazy actually. Some of them are not incredibly old. Obviously you can see over here something from the 60s. And then behind here, obviously, this little one here. Pretty sure I just picked a gigantic spider out of my hair. This place is kind of, I don't know, it's different for sure. But the front half here actually looks really, really nice. Obviously there's a few exceptions. There's a few things leaning over and a little bit of a blank space here where there probably would have been some memorials, but now they've disappeared underground. But overall, I mean, the front section at least is looking decent. And it continues on down the hill here, which is probably a lot steeper now. And then we have a retaining wall right here, which you could probably notice when we were driving up to the place. And this is really interesting. The top of this looks huge as compared to what you normally would see. And even the writing is incredibly deep. Here at the end is something that's about to become buried from 1870. So it shows you how much care these places need before the history here will just disappear. Alright, so I want to skip around now, and we're going to head back towards the rear section here again and check out some of the wooded areas for potential headstones here. As you can see, there is a decent sized wooded area, but it doesn't look to have anything in it once again, and this fence line stops right here. And this actually seems to be the furthest stone back here. So it looks like we might have found a place that actually is taking really good care of their borders, but not as great care of the decorative areas like around the trees. So approaching now one of the numerous areas with damage around these now bigger trees that probably were planted around the time that the stones were made. But you can see the incredible amount of damage here, and obviously they're just hiding under all this debris and years of plant life growing. And there's another tiny little one here. It's been covered in these vines. And obviously right here behind it is another great example, but this one hasn't grown quite as much. But you can tell that if it's not managed, it will get bigger and eventually engulf all of these too. It kind of looks like this one might have been partially covered at one time, and then somebody came out and attempted to clear it out a little bit. As just looking at the dirt on the ground below, you can see the line that's running here where either something's been sprayed or somebody came out with a weed whacker. I'm not really sure which. I was going to take it on around here, but I'm finding some stuff in the grass just like this here. You can see this is an old base here that would have had a headstone stuck in it. No sign of it anywhere. And just down the row from that is again the same thing, and even has a fair chunk of the headstone still sticking out of the top, and so more than likely has been buried over the years. But let's continue on this way. We'll check the other side of these decorative plants that have kind of grown wild over the years, and see how far down towards the other road this place actually goes. Difficult to see inside there, but I can tell that there's not room enough really for anything else. So let's continue on. So I don't know if someone's tried to move this recently. There's a really large gap in between it and the ground. Maybe somebody's going to move it back into place though. And this one has some clear marks from some equipment that's been used to weed whack. Although it may have been caught in the brush, and so at a certain point, you know, any amount of restoration work is going to cause a little bit of extra damage. So this is something here from World War I and World War II. Looks like right next to each other. Appears to be the same, let's see, no, same name, but I'm guessing one was a junior, because this says April 20th of 1924, and this one over here says 1897 as a birth date. And right here on the other side of this veterans marker is a memorial to the veteran's wife, Helen Josephine. Never actually, that I can remember, encountered anything like that where somebody hasn't been memorialized on their own stone, but yet only on the back of somebody else's. It's kind of crazy. The lettering on here is really, really clear. It was 1839. So this place was around a while before the Civil War even started. So that's really incredible. So we're coming up on another collapsed stone here, and this one would have been a fairly large one, it looks like. Pretty tall at very least. I don't know how thick it would have been. Doesn't look incredibly thick, just judging on this section right here. And then I think this is actually, it might be a base stone for another memorial, or it itself may be a buried memorial. This one right here is kind of interesting. You can see where they have leveled it off over the years, and now once again it's become unlevel and basically on the verge of falling over. So you can see again how these places, even the grade of the hill changes over the years and becomes steeper and steeper, and is why a lot of this damage ends up taking place, because there's just too much stress on the tops of the memorials, and then they shear off and fall, and then somebody has to find them and a lot of times unbury them and put it right back up. And so like this one right here, it's almost likely, looking at it, that there would have been something else here on the top at one point, and then it fell and is now buried underneath the ground. And I wanted to check behind it too. So there's these little tiny decorative areas that aren't actually decorative areas as we saw before. They're just places where things were planted that got really overgrown and now are covering up the headstones. And so going right behind it, we see the same exact scenario. And once again, if we are to just peel these back at all, you can get a fairly clear view, although still pretty decayed and damaged. You can get a pretty clear view of at least what they look like. It seems just like a trend here. Again, I'm just assuming, and of course correctly assuming, that buried way deep in here are sections and pieces. I think these are two different ones. So you can see even how driving past, you could look up right up at these things and not even know what it was. And so this is where the problem lies a lot of times, and how these places end up getting completely lost over the years, just due to the fact that somebody at one point actually was trying to do something good and put some decorative plants here, and lo and behold, unfortunately they got overgrown because they weren't cared for over the years and they become like this. I don't know if there's anything over here. Yeah, there's definitely more. These are a lot further down, harder to see. But you can tell that there's something here. It might just be a base stone though. Wow. It's just crazy to think that just a few feet away are a lot of memorials just like this, which are in amazing condition and not hidden at all, completely freed from any type of brush and weeds, and will be here for years and years to come. So how some of these things get left behind is just a little bit of a mystery. And I don't know what this, well, obviously it's a little birdhouse that's been placed here. I don't know how old it is, I should say, or who would have put it here. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But directly behind it is another memorial that's hiding right here. Not really hiding, but kind of blends right in with the color of the grass that has died around it here. But again, not sure if we're gonna get any writing off of it. Seems to be pretty decayed. The other side here being even worse. Another strange one here, kind of cracked in an interesting pattern and has a rectangular shape here that's clearly popping out from the rest of whatever it is. I don't know if it's a base stone or a memorial that's fallen over. Alright, thanks everybody for tuning in to this episode on 539. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am going to go here quickly to the corner and try and check out the edge here around where the church would have stood, just to see what I can see back here. It doesn't look like there's going to be anything at all, but I did want to take a quick look before we took off. Pretty much our view here, just an empty patch of woods and no sign of any building pieces or really anything whatsoever. Again, if you are enjoying these adventures out here in the Midwest and around the United States, make sure you turn that bell notification on. Again, make sure you're subscribed. Check out the second channel if you get a chance. And as always, I'll see you guys in our next adventure.